Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
And good evening, and welcome to the Reaver of Common Sense special makeup show. Making sense out of the senseless right here on SHR Media, Conservative media done right. The masks aren't just slipping, they're being ripped off by the very people who put them on. Tonight's show is one of those nights where the headlines show just how interconnected the world has become. In the past 24 hours, we've seen major military escalation in the Persian Gulf, a total breakdown of media institution in New York, and political shifts in Virginia that are rewriting the map for 2026. The front line of today's conflict isn't limited to the distant battlefield anymore. It stretches from the energy fields of Iran all the way into the local voting booth and onto our airwaves. So buckle up, because tonight we're connecting the dots between foreign policy, domestic security, and a Washington power structure that is desperately trying to maintain its grip while common sense takes the wheel. If you want to support the show directly, you could become a YouTube member by hitting the join button below the stream or drop a super chat during the live broadcast. Your support helps keep the lights on here at SHR Media and keeps this microphone live. And don't forget to check out SHR Media merch shop at shrmedia.com, because sometimes the best way to spread common sense is to wear it. All right, let's get going. I want to apologize straight off the bat for last night. I don't know how it happened. Somehow Windows muted my mic. I don't know how it happened. I was looking at everything else but Windows, because I never do anything with this computer except do the show, so I would never mute the mic. So I'm sorry, but tonight's going to be a makeup show. And we're going to start. There was a major announcement today. Robert Mueller has passed away. Robert Mueller, the former FBI director and special counsel who led the multi-year investigation into Russian election interference, has passed away at the age of 81. His family confirmed the news this morning, stating that he passed away peacefully on Friday night. While the cause of death hasn't been officially released, it was well known that Mueller had been battling Parkinson's disease for several years, a diagnosis that ultimately led to his withdrawal from public life and the illegal arena. Mueller's legacy is one that will be debated for decades. To his supporter, he was the ultimate G-man, a decorated Marine, a steady hand who led the FBI through the aftermath of 9/11. And a man of institutional integrity who took on the impossible task of investigating a sitting president. To his critics, particularly within the Reaver audience and the current administration, he was the face of a weaponized bureaucracy. His special counsel probe, which lasted nearly 2 years and cost tens of millions of dollars, became the primary fuel for the Russian hoax narrative that hamstrung the first term for Trump. The reaction from the White House today was as blunt as you would expect. President Trump took to Truth Social earlier, writing, "Robert Mueller just died. Good, I'm glad he's dead. He can no longer hurt innocent people." It is a harsh epithet, but it reflects the deep, lasting resentment felt by those who believe Mueller's team of angry Democrats pursued a political vendetta under the guise of law enforcement. For many, Mueller represents the deep state at its most powerful, an unelected official with the power to upend an entire presidency, based on what turned out to be nothing but a hoax. Regardless of where you stand on his politics, Mueller's career spans some of the most pivotal moments in modern history. He was the second longest-serving FBI director, surpassed only by J. Edgar Hoover, and he oversaw the Bureau's massive pivot towards counterterrorism. But for the Reaver mission, his death is a reminder that the institution he represented are still being cleaned up. The subpoenas we talked about earlier for James Comey are a direct legacy of the Mueller era, a push to finally get the answers that Mueller's final report famously failed to provide. The passing of Robert Mueller closes the door on the 2017-2019 era of D.C. infighting, but the fallout from his work continues to shape the 2026 political landscape. As the DOJ grand conspiracy probe moves forward, investigators are looking at a very foundation that Mueller's team built their case on. His death marks the end of the man, but the fight over the deep state tactics he employed is far from over. Now, I may have not agreed with the investigation, some of the things he might have done, but I will put out to his family my deepest thoughts and prayers for loss of a family member. I will not shit on somebody. There is only one person's death that I will shit on, and I think I'd have a right to, is the guy who shot my father. That's the only person I'll ever shit on when they die. I don't think it's right. If you want to do it, that's your responsibility. That is your right to do. I won't condemn you for doing it, but at the same time, I won't approve of it. Now, if you want a single headline to summarize the total collapse of the DC establishment, this is it. As the Department of Homeland Security shutdown enters its fifth week, leaving 50,000 TSA agents working for IOUs, Elon Musk stepped up this morning with a move that has the disruption doctrine written all over it. Musk officially offered to personally cover the salaries of TSA personnel to keep American airports moving. He stated, "I would like to offer to pay the salaries of TSA personnel during this funding impasse that is negatively affecting the lives of so many Americans." Think about that. The world's richest man is offering to perform the most basic duty of a government, paying its security force, because Congress is too busy playing games with our border security. But the pressure didn't stop with Musk's checkbook. President Trump turned the heat up to boil this afternoon, announcing that the Democrats did not stop the game and fund DHS by Monday. He will bypass the TSA entirely. The president posted, "I will move our brilliant and patriotic ICE agents to the airport where they will do security like no one has ever done before." This is a massive connected dots moment. You have the private sector offering the money and the commander-in-chief offering the muscle to ensure that the radical left's attempt to hold our traffic system hostage fails miserably. The irony here is thick enough to cut with a knife. The same Democrats who claim to protect workers are the ones withholding the paychecks of 50,000 screeners because they're upset with the administration's immigration crackdown. They are willing to let TSA agents sleep in their car, which is actually happening in some states, just to score a political point. Musk and Trump are showing them that in 2026, the indispensable bureaucracy they built can be bypassed. Whether it's private funding or moving ICE into the front line, the message to DC is clear. The American people aren't going to be your bargaining chips anymore. This is the disruption doctrine in its purest form. We are seeing a total role reversal where the outsiders are the ones providing the stability while the insiders provide the chaos. Whether it's Trump RX lowering your drug costs or Elon Musk keeping the airports open, the theme of today's show is that people are taking the wheel. The nonsense in the halls of Congress is being left in the rearview mirror by leaders who actually care about the safety and bank accounts of American people. Sorry, I was checking something real quick. I want to thank everybody that's in the chat, everybody that's watching on this Saturday night. I appreciate every single one of you and all the moderators that are here to make sure chat stays calm. But tonight, again, we're going to be connecting the dots on a lot of things. And between the explosive headlines in the Persian Gulf and the absolute sticker shock you're seeing at the local gas station, since the U.S. and Israel began this necessary strike on February 28th to finally dismantle the Iranian threat, The radical regime in Tehran has done exactly what we expected. They're turning their crosshairs on the global economy. The national average for a gas a gallon has surged past $3.85 because a cornered, desperate regime is trying to hold the world hostage at the Straits of Hamas. But make no mistake, this price spike isn't a failure of American policy. It is the final dying gasp of a terrorist state that is being methodically dismantled by the commander-in-chief who actually understands peace through strength. The energy war hit a fever pitch this week when the U.S. Navy was forced to sweep the strait for Iranian mine-laying vessels. Central Command confirmed that U.S. forces led by A-10 Warthogs Apache helicopters have already obliterated over 44 Iranian mine layers and 120 fast attack craft. The mullahs know they can't survive a conventional fight against the American military, so they are dropping mines in the 21-mile wide channel that carries 20% of the world's oil. Every time an Iranian boat is sent to the bottom of the Gulf, it's a win for global security. Even if the risk premier causes a temporary jump at the pump. We are finally lacing the boil of Iranian aggression, and yes, it's going to be felt at the kitchen table before the healing begins. This disruption is hitting every aisle of the grocery store because diesel prices have jumped over $1 per gallon in the last 3 weeks. But let's be clear about who's to blame. It's not the strikes. It's not the sabotage. When the strait is blocked by Iranian mines, it doesn't just strand oil. It strands the very resources that keep American cost of living stable. The double hit on shipping and fertilizer costs is a direct result of the regime's attempt to blackmail the West. By taking the fight directly to Tehran's energy heart, we are assuring that they can never again use their oil wealth to fund the very terror that destabilized our economy. The connect the dots reality is that our energy security is being restored through decisive action. While President Trump has vowed that fire and fury will rain upon anyone blocking the flow of oil, we are seeing the regime try to retaliate by damaging infrastructure like Qatar's LNG plant. This is exactly why the regime must be finished. You cannot coexist with a state that views a global energy crisis as a valid military tactic. The temporary tax increase we are paying in gas price is the price of finally ending a 40-year war of aggressions from a regime that hates our way of life. We also have to talk about the American First reality of this coalition. While the U.S. Navy is doing the heavy lifting to keep the lanes open, the president is rightly calling out the free riders who benefit from the open straits but won't contribute a single hole to defend it. We are protecting the world's energy supply on our terms, and we are done subsidizing the security of nations that won't stand with us. This is the rarest form of leadership. We are clearing the lanes, we are destroying the mine layers, and we're showing the world that the era of American hesitation is over. And one of the things I want to see this president do, because we've heard Europe gone, this isn't our war. Well, you know what? Ukraine ain't our fucking war either. But we've helped fund that. We're not asking European countries to get involved. We're asking for minesweepers and such to go over there just to secure the straits. You're going to see in the coming weeks the area's militaries. I predict there's going to be an invasion of Iran by the Middle East countries, not by U.S. boots on the ground. I'm talking, we might have some special forces involved to help, but it's going to be the UAE, Saudis, Qatar, all of them that go in and take control of Iran. And that's my prediction. And maybe it might take a couple more weeks, but that is what I'm predicting is going to happen. You're not going to see us throwing a lot of people in there. We are trying to embolden the countries around Iran that are tired of Iran. These countries have understood that oil, that it makes the Saudis and all them money. Capitalism, the tourism, all that makes them even more money. And when Iran acts up, it slows down EOD's in a chat, and he's saying he's taking a guess that special forces are on the ground. I am putting a bet that they've been on the ground probably a year. And when I talk boots on the ground, I'm talking Army, Marines. That special forces is a different breed. They do a lot of things that we don't know, and we probably never know. So chances that they've been on the ground in the background, yeah, I'd bet my ass on it. But I think the boots on the ground forces are going to come from a coalition of Middle East countries because they're tired of Iran, as I was going to the point. Iran disrupts the area. Tourism slows down, which slows down the money to all these countries. All these countries have been building up tourists. And when you have terrorists in the area, nobody wants to go there. So you don't make money. These countries are tired of Iran and their bullshit. Look at Lebanon, what they're doing. Finally stepping up, arresting Hamas terrorists. Finally. They're not even bitching that they're getting bombed by Israel. They're supporting it. They're helping Israel. They want to rid Hezbollah. That area is tired of it. Been going on for too long. We have allowed it to go on too long. And I'm glad we're finally stepping up and fucking doing something. Yes. Is it hurting the prices at home? Yes. Success has a price. I'll agree with that too, EOD. I'll agree with that too. And if you want to be part of the conversation, just go to YouTube and jump into the live chat there. But this is a temporary increase, and all these doomsayers and all that are getting tiresome. It's boring. It really is. Hang on. Shit. Let's go into my next section, and I'm missing some stuff. Give me a second. I had some videos, and they're supposed to be linked, and it wasn't linked. Surprise, surprise, surprise. But I know where to find them. And again, like I said, I apologize about last night. I don't know what the hell happened, but just the only different thing I did to this computer is I put in UPS. And that I didn't change any settings, any of that. So I don't know why the mic muted itself. Come on. Trying to go through. Nope. Up further. Almost there. Going through a lot of post. Here we go. I got 2 videos that I could play for this. And it's Schumer and the Democrats are getting desperate when it comes to talk about the SAVE Act. And they're not listening to the American people. And the American people want it. And this narrative that MAGA is losing support. They're losing support over Iran and all that is just bullshit. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer took to the floor this week to launch another attack on the Save American Act, which would require proof of citizenship to require to vote. Schumer dismissed the entire effort as a fringe MAGA obsession, claiming the policy only appeals to the most extreme element of the Republican base. It's a tired line of the attack, but this time the narrative hit a massive wall when CNN's own data department debunked that statement. Now, I also had to laugh because we had a person in chat the other night. I think it was for Edge of Liberty. And he was talking, oh, you have to have a passport. And you have to know. Passport is one of several items that you can use. You are not required to use a passport. If you have a real ID, which proves that you are a U.S. citizen, you can use that. Birth certificate, passports. There is multiple items, and they're trying to conflate the information to confuse you and give you the false information. Now, in a live segment following Schumer's remarks, CNN senior data analyst dismantled the fringe claim with the network's own polling data. CNN, not Fox, CNN. Sorry, I kind of just lost my thought. CNN's own numbers, not Fox, are showing a level of national consensus that is almost unheard of in modern politics. 85% of white Americans want voter ID. 82% of Latino Americans want voter ID. 76% of Black Americans all support the requirement of voter ID. And so you don't take my word for it. Let's go to the tape. Now the monsters are here. All right, you ready? Now, again, these aren't my words. This is going to be Chuck Schumer talking, and then CNN.
Voter suppression. That is what the Republican Senate is wasting our time on. Pushing a voter suppression bill that most Americans do not support. A bill that appeals to only the most fringe element of the MAGA base.
Take a look here. Favorite photo ID to vote. 85% of white people favor it. 82% of Latino. 76% of Black Americans favor it. So the bottom line is this. Voter ID is not controversial in this country. A photo ID to vote is not controversial in this country. It is not controversial by party, and it is not controversial by race. The vast majority of Americans agree with Nicki Minaj that, in fact, you should have a photo ID to be able to vote.
Now, I'm going to play this again for those that are hard-headed, thick-headed, liberal friends that can't get this through their head. This is CNN. This is your news station. This is liberal media.
Voter suppression. That is what the Republican Senate is wasting our time on. Pushing a voter suppression bill that most Americans do not support. A bill that appeals to only the most fringe element of the MAGA base.
Take a look here. Favorite photo ID to vote. 85% of white people favor it. 82% of Latino. 76% of Black Americans favor it. So the bottom line is this. Voter ID is not controversial in this country. A photo ID to vote is not controversial in this country. It is not controversial by party, and it is not controversial by race. The vast majority of Americans agree with Nicki Minaj that, in fact, you should have a photo ID to be able to vote.
Now, how is it that this man goes out there and makes these lies, and people still support this son of a bitch? He's lying to your face. Everybody knows it. He's telling that, oh, women won't be able to get it. Blacks won't be able to get it. He sits there and insults these people. He insults their intelligence. I'll tell you right now, if you're insulting my intelligence, I ain't fucking supporting you. I ain't voting for your ass. Whether it's Trump or anything, and don't come at me with the stupid fucking bullshit lines that I've heard time and time again. Oh, Trump said he loves uneducated people. Fuck off. I'm getting tired of that bullshit. And here is CNN again. Not Fox, not any liberal, or excuse me, conservative site. This is CNN for you. Of course, now they'll bitch. CNN and you should false reporting.
The bottom line is this. If you are a member of MAGA, you approve. And when we look at the numbers, I mean, I've heard some people say, oh, you know what, when you look at those MAGA numbers, it doesn't account for those who might have left MAGA. But take a look here. Americans who identify as MAGA in November of 2024, it was 28% of Americans. Now it's basically the same. If anything, it's slightly higher at 30%. The bottom line is this. The MAGA base within the GOP is not shrinking. It's the same size. If anything, it is slightly larger than it was back in 2024 when, of course, Donald Trump won a second term. So that 100% that Donald Trump has approval among MAGA GOP, that is not an artifact of MAGA shrinking. It's just an indication of how strong Donald Trump's grip is on that MAGA base. You know, we mentioned Iran in the intro of this segment. GOP on U.S. military action.
So now not MAGA, GOP.
MAGA, it's 90% approval. It's 90% approval, just 5% disapproval. If you disapprove of the job that Donald Trump is doing, or excuse me, the U.S. military action in Iran, and you're a member of the GOP, look at this. It's your non-MAGA. You're non-MAGA. It's 36% there, 54% approved. But the majority of Republicans...
But let's look at that. Majority of the Republicans are approving of this. So the only ones that are buying into the narrative that he's losing support, that all that are these, either you're a troll or you're just brain fucking dead, that you're blindly following a party and not listening to facts. So, and the foreigners. I love the foreigners that come into the chat and run their mouths. The trolls that come into this SHR Media shows are funny as hell, because they spew, and we can go to the websites. We know where to go, and we can read the headlines as you're posting in our fucking chat, you morons. We can sit there by each and every single post. It's weird. I'm getting a bong. And we can find it. And we know. And we know it. You're sit there, you're talking points. You're coming in. Oh, Trump doesn't like you. Trump's screwing you over. You're spewing Democrat talking points. And this right here, CNN is proving you wrong as you spew this crap. You look like a fucking moron. I can't put in any comma. You look like a fucking moron when I'm playing CNN, liberal bastion, that's showing you're full of shit. And you're going to run your mouth and chat.
Approve of the job that the U.S. military action is in Iran, and the majority of MAGA, which is the majority of the GOP, very much approve, 90%, very little split in Donald Trump's base. Those who disapprove in the GOP, simply put, they hate MAGA.
It's really clear MAGA has the floor.
MAGA has the floor.
Now,
there's not much more I can talk on that, because these trolls, number one, they come in here. You're not even from this country, and I know that. We've done the research. You're from other countries. You're coming in here spewing your fucking crap. You're entertainment to us. You're fodder. You mean that much to us. You mean nothing. The only thing we like about you, you come in and you boost our numbers. So thank you for that. I'm going to jump around a little bit. Oh, it's actually that time. Before we go any further, hit that like button, smash subscribe, and share the stream like your freedom depends on it, because guess what? It just might. Every click helps us punch through big tech censorship. and drown out media noise to make sure common sense has a fighting chance. Now, you can join the channel as a YouTube member by hitting the join button below. And on the stream, members help keep independent media alive and get some extra perks as our community grows. And if you want to jump in the conversation live, and super chats are open, your message gets highlighted on the screen and helps keep the show rolling. Don't go anywhere. Reaver Common Sense will be right back. If I could pull up the video. Yeah, there we go.
Come listen to BZ's Berserk Bobcat Saloon Radio Show. Live on select and exclusive Tuesday and Thursday nights at 11 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. Central, and 8 p.m. Pacific on the SHR Media Rumble channel, SHR Media YouTube channel, X, Twitch, Spreaker, and wherever great conservative podcasts are found. BZ, your conservative Sherpa, guides you through the maelstrom of Democrat, leftist, and globalist lies, chaos, deceit, and betrayal. Raised as a free-range child with dirt, stains, mud, and freedom, BZ broadcasts from North Idaho, comfortably surrounded by actual normal people. Jump into our plush, sumptuous, palatial, and resplendent chat room on rumble.com. Click on live chat to join. Now, with 37% more umbrage and 19% more bulbosity than previous shows, featuring delicious Liberty additives for the best in late-night conservatarian talk radio. BZ reminds you that with great beard comes great responsibility. No chinchillas were harmed, embarrassed, fat-shamed, or the focus of any sarcasm whatsoever in the making of this ad.
Are you looking for a way to boldly express your faith and love for your country? And check out Seven Armors, the premier apparel company for patriotic men of God, where faith meets freedom in style. Our t-shirts are more than just clothing, they're statements. Bold, stylish, and meaningful. From timeless messages to modern designs, we've got something for every patriotic man of God. Wear your beliefs proudly with Seven Armors gear. Don't miss the chance to wear your faith and freedom on your sleeve. Visit 7armors.com today and join the movement. That's the number 7armors.com.
Hey, where do you go when you want real conversation and topics? That's right, you step to the Edge. The Edge of Liberty is your home for talk radio the way it was meant to be. I'll be live every Monday and Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on the SHR Media Network, and we're simulcast on KLRN Radio. We're building something different, Aaron. We just want you to be a part of it. I'll see you on the Edge.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I'm your host, Jersey Joe, here to make sense out of the senseless right here on SHR Media, conservative media done right. SHR Media merch is here, and it's built for people who refuse to sit quietly while the nonsense runs wild. From bold logo tees to gear that makes statements without saying a word. This isn't just merch, it's a signal. You stand for free speech. You stand for accountability. You stand where truth lives. Wear it, share it, live it. Grab your SHR Media merch today and represent common sense wherever you go. Head on over to shrmedia.com and check out the store. Oh, what really makes me laugh is I tell these people exactly what I think that they're doing, and they're too dumb to pick it up, and they just keep going. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. And you know what else is beautiful? The internal civil war within the Democrat Party that's reaching a boiling point as Senator John Fetterman launched a blistering attack against California Governor Gavin Newsom. Fetterman didn't hold back, calling out Newsom for what he described as a disgusting and pedophilic attack directed at a young man who had been exposing massive fraud within the California state government. This level of public vitriol between two of the party's most prominent figures is almost unprecedented, signaling a deep fracture in the leftist coalition that is becoming impossible to paper over. The conflict stems from a whistleblower's effort to bring light to systematic corruption in Sacramento, only to be met with a personal smear campaign from the governor's office. Fetterman, who has increasingly positioned himself as a common sense outliner in his party, took the rare step of defending the whistleblower against his own colleagues. By using such inflammatory language, Fetterman effectively declaring that he will no longer provide cover for the California brand of politics, which he clearly views as a liability to the nation's party's image and moral standings. And that's what's funny. These idiots don't get it. They're pushing more people away with this type of behavior. And what of Trumpism, because that's all they like, Trump. Well, I'm not talking about Trump now. I'm talking about Gavin Newsom. So when you have party members acting like Gavin Newsom, it pushes people away. Because it isn't just the bombastic attitude like Trump has. They're attacking and insulting the American voters. Period. And that's what they're doing. And they're pushing. And you can sit there and make all excuses you want. But when you look at the poll numbers, when you look at the rolls, the voter rolls, Democrat Party has been bleeding voters for about 5-10 years now. Massive bleeding of voters. And it just... there seems to be no adults in the party that are willing to stand up, except for, and I can't believe I'm saying this, John Fetterman. He got a taste of it when the left has been attacking him for being sane. And it blows my mind. The party is heading for the toilet. All you have is a small fringe that screams loud. And that's it. You could think you have this major control in the country. You don't. You're I actually just went over to a chat for a second, and this is actually funny. Now they're trying to throw a Fetterman under the table. It's typical. He has been a Democrat since day one. He's not a Republican. He still votes with the Democrats. But he's calling you out on your bullshit as you do it in my chat room. As you act like a bunch of idiots in my chat room. That's the best part. You prove my point the way you act. And I treat you like you treat me. I have friends that are Democrats, and we have very respectful conversations. We respect each other, and we respect that we have different political ideology, because that's what this country is about. People like you, and yes, they are some on the right. I never said there isn't, and I'll be the first one to admit it. But the ones on the left attack you for having a different ideology. The party of acceptance, the party of tolerance, only tolerates what they want you to tolerate. And if you don't think, walk, talk, and act like them, they attack you. And people are getting tired of that constant attack. And let me guess, because I ain't going back chat, because you're a bunch of losers. Not all Democrats. I'm not saying all Democrats. The ones that are in the chat that are spewing shit right now are losers. And I tell you, the only thing you do when you come into our chats is you boost our numbers. And that's the funny part is you're too stupid to get that through your head, because you're not going to change my mind. The more you attack me, the more you run your mouth, the more you insult me, the more it reinforces. Now, I'll have nice conversations with people. I will respect people if you treat me the same. And what's going on here in this article I'm talking about, Fetterman is getting tired of the bullshit. The governor attacked a citizen journalist who found fraud in Gavin Newsom's government. So instead of saying, let's look into it, no, he attacks the messenger, which makes him look more guilty. It makes him look like he had knowledge. Same with Minnesota when it comes to walls. The more he attacks about it and tries to cover it up, the more guilty he looks. You might want to take a page out of Fetterman and take a look at your own party. Take a look at your own self in the mirror, people. I'm not going to sit here and blow smoke up people's asses because you don't like what's going on. And it hurts your little fifis. I really don't care. I do this for fun. I don't get paid to do it. I have fun doing it. I have fun watching these trolls. These out of country only can hit the talking points. Because as soon as you counter that talking point, they change subject. They won't stay on that subject. And then they get mad at you when you won't talk to them. And then when you counter their stuff and call them out on it, they cuss you out. Then you wonder why we don't want to have conversations, would you? I've seen 5-year-olds act with more responsibility. Oh, got about just over 15 minutes to go. Let's see what else we have lined up for tonight. What else can I troll the trolls with? UE was targeted in Baghdad. The cost of neutrality. The geopolitical chickens came home to roost in a spectacular and violent fashion this week in Baghdad, just hours after the European Union announced it would not join the U.S.-led coalition to reopen the Straits of Hormuz. An Iranian-manufactured drone slammed into a hotel. This wasn't a random strike. The drone hit the specific floor housing the EU delegation and several European diplomat offices. It is a grim, undeniable welcome to the reality moment for the Brussels establishment that thought they could opt out of global conflict while still operating in the heart of the blast zone. So tell me, jackass, what are those 34 felonies? Can you tell me what 34 felonies are? Don't just sit there. You got 34 felonies. What are the 34 felonies? Because one word was printed 34 times in a report. That wasn't even a felony. They had to change the fucking law to make it a felony, you fucking piece of shit. God, you people, you're so predictable. And that's the fun part. You're predictable with your bullshit. You sit there and you tell me Epstein. This shows me how stupid you are. File after file after file after report after victim has come forward and said Trump had nothing to do with it. Trump helped us. The reports show he turned Epstein over. Retards like you run out and go, oh, it's Trump and Epstein. Trump and Epstein. Epstein hated him. There's email after email, and you idiots spew it. It shows that you don't have a brain of your own. God, I'm so sick of it. You are turning a tragedy and trying to turn it into a political point, and that's what aggravates me. These victims don't deserve what you are doing. You are trying to destroy a man with lies and false comments and using the victims. Do you know how scummy that makes you? I normally don't talk with the chat in this. Why? Because these people that come in here and spew this shit are scum. You were trying to use victims. That's how low you are. You are using people that are victims to try to attack a political opponent. You're scum. And if you bring up Epstein again, I'm just going to toss you from the chat. Plain and simple. I'm going to have you removed from the chat. I'm tired of it. So mods, if you see anybody bringing that up and shit, fucking toss their ass, please. I'm tired of the bullshit. I'm tired of these scum. They're using the victims, and the victims don't deserve it. The Democrats have turned this tragedy for political points. And yes, it does aggravate me because my family was a victim. And scumbags like you trying to use victims for political points is sickening. And don't give me whatism isn't all that. And I'm talking about the Epstein victims. And thank you, O2. I'm sorry for going off on a little tangent. I normally don't do this, but it's just I'm tired of these idiots coming in here and using these victims of Epstein to try to make a political point. You're making comments that are slanderous, and I will not be a part of that. I'm tired of it. Do you want to come in here? You want to disagree with me? By all means. Do it respectfully or get the fuck out. The war for control over the nation's intelligence apparatus took a massive turn this week with a bombshell report identifying former Representative Joe Kent as a primary figure in a series of damaging leaks. According to investigators, Kent, a former special force officer who once held a position of significant trust, has been officially cut off from the president's intel briefings for several months. This move was a preemptive strike by administration that has been plagued by internal sabotage, and it highlights the level of infiltration that still exists within the high-level security clearance circles of the DC establishment. This isn't just a story about one man. It is a case study in the weaponization of classified information to undermine a sitting president's foreign policy. For months, sensitive data regarding U.S. operations and strategic planning has been showing up in legacy media outlets, clearly designed to embarrass the administration and stymie its agenda. By identifying Kent as a source of these leaks, the administration is making it clear that service is no longer a shield for subversion. The message is loud and clear. If you use your access to play partisan games with national security, your access will be terminated permanently. The timing of these revelations coincides with a broader cleanup effort at the Department of Justice, where a grand conspiracy finally reaching the architect of the old guard. James Comey has officially been subpoenaed to testify about his role in the multi-year effort to use the DOJ as a political bludgeon against his opponents. These two stories are linked because they both involve the same core problem: unelected officials who believe their personally ideological overrides the will of the American voters. Whether it's a former congressman leaking briefings or a former FBI director orchestrating probes, the error of the unaccountable expert is hitting a brick wall. What makes the Joe Kent situation particularly explosive is his background as a veteran and a former American First candidate. This demonstrates that the deep state isn't just a coalition of career bureaucrats. It's a culture that can opt even those who claim to be on the outside. It's a reminder that loyalty to the Constitution and the current missions are the only metrics that matter in an intelligent environment. When those lines get blurred by personal ambition or bitterness over the last election, the entire safety of the republic is put at risk for a headline of a legacy newspaper. Oh, sorry. I'm checking some stats out. And no, it just clicked on the wrong tab. That's why. But we are seeing a systematic cleansing of the stables that has been decades in the making. For too long, the DC ecosystem has protected leakers as a whistleblowers when they were actually just partisan operatives with a clearance. By cutting Kent out of the loop months ago, the administration effectively ran a canary trap to see exactly where the information was flowing. Now that the flow has been traced, the legal consequences are likely to be severe. This is the difference between previous years and today. The leadership isn't just complaining about leaks. They are hunting the leakers down and removing them from the board. The mainstream media is already attempting to frame this as a purge of dissenting voices, but the American public is seeing it for what it is: basic accountability. And any other business, if you are caught handing your company's trade secrets to a competitor, you are fired or prosecuted. Why should the federal government, with the lives of soldiers and the security of the border at stake, be any different? The standard of national security has been used to hide corruption for years. It is finally being used to protect the integrity of the commander-in-chief's information flow. So this guy was leaking information, got cut out for intelligence briefings, knew everything was coming down around him, resigned, and then ran to the media. All right, this is also a guy that's running out there and screaming that Israel, I believe he said Israel had Charlie Kirk killed. He's pulling a Candace Owens. I mean, he is out there with some of his excuses, but he's trying to cover up the fact that he leaked secure information that shouldn't have been leaked. So now he's trying to cover it up by running to the press, but that's not going to stop a court or prosecution. He can run to the press all he wants. It's not going to stop. Now, why do I have that twice? That's weird. As we all know, the SAVE Act has cleared a major Senate hurdle. It's not done, but it has cleared a major hurdle. And it's finally moving on the how to fix the fallout. The Save American Act just cleared a major hurdle in the Senate, moving one step closer to becoming the law of the land. This legislation is a direct legislative counter to the scheme that Holman was talking about, specifically targeting the ability of non-citizens to influence federal election by requiring proof of citizenship to register to vote. I showed you the video earlier of CNN exposing that a large majority of the country wants voter ID. I've never in my 54 years have seen anything in this country where 85% of the country agrees on anything. We've never done that I've ever seen. We haven't, and now we have politicians dragging their feet, refusing to get this through. Oh, boy. Oh, I didn't even notice that, Missionary Man, that he went to Tucker. Yeah, that's a good point. He ran to Tucker. That tells you it all. That tells you everything. Also, we're getting ready for the show's coming up to an end. So let me see if I can maybe sneak one more in. No, the Democrats are scrambling. Democrat establishment was sent into a tailspin this week following the release of a bombshell report involving one of the most prominent culture icons of the modern left. The allegation, which included horrific details of child grape. Because I know you two can get funky with the R word. Have paralyzed the party messaging machine and left its leaders scrambling to contain the fallout. This isn't just a localized scandal. It strikes at the heart of the moral high ground that the progressive movement has claimed for years, exposing a dark underbelly that many insiders have reportedly whispered about for decades, but never dared to confront publicly. The timing of these allegations is particularly devastating. I'm going to make a little correlation. You keep hearing about these child molesters, pedophiles, and they keep being progressive members. Maybe there's something needs to be looked at. All right, that's going to be the end of the show. I think I blew my top enough tonight. For those that were listening, and I'm sorry for that, but I'm just getting tired of certain things. And I know it's not going to change. They're still going to be the scum that they are. But I'll just keep calling them now. And that's where the landscape stands tonight. From the floor of the United States Senate and the data analysts at the CNN to the energy fields of the Persian Gulf and the special election results in Virginia we didn't get to. The common thread running through all these stories is the collapse of curated narrative. Whether it's Israel taking unilateral actions at South Pars, the exposure of intel leakers in D.C., or the crumbling infrastructure of the legacy media at CBS. The American people are watching a fundamental realignment of power and truth. The American people are paying attention more closely than ever. They're watching how election integrity is dismissed as fringe, while the supermajority of the country demands it. They're watching how multi-billion-dollar butterfly bridge are built while local citizens struggle with skyrocketing costs. They're watching as high-ranking officials like James Comey are finally handed subpoenas to answer for the grand conspiracy of the past. The political fights we're seeing, from the Save American Act to the internal rebellion within the Democrat caucus, are not random headlines. They are the results of years of institutional rot finally colliding with the real-world common sense of the American voter. But here's the good news. You are paying attention. And when the citizens start paying attention, the nonsense starts to die. That's why independent media matters. Conversations that challenge the establishment's protected icon and their failed policies matter. Because the truth doesn't survive in silence. It survives when people like you are willing to look at the receipts, speak up, and stand your ground. Before we head out tonight, a couple of quick reminders on where to find more of SHR Media Family. Edge of Liberty with Sackhead Sean every Monday and Wednesday, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Then you have BZ's Berserk Bobcat Saloon with BZ himself every Tuesday, Thursday, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Beer and Bullstein with Lyle Armstrong every Friday and Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Then we have, of course, Mission Ready Men with Big E. Jackson every Tuesday and Thursday, noon Eastern Standard Time, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Reaver Common Sense on Friday with me, Jersey Joe, every Monday and Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And if you enjoyed tonight's show, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share the stream. Every single click helps independent media grow and helps us punch through the filters that are trying to bury our voices. And if you want to support the show directly, you can become a YouTube member by hitting the join button below the stream or drop a super chat. Your support keeps the lights on here at SHR Media and keeps this microphone live. And don't forget to grab your gear at shrmedia.com, because sometimes the best way to spread common sense is to wear it. Thank you for spending part of your evening with us. I'm Jersey Joe, and this has been the Reaver Common Sense. And always, where truth lives and the nonsense dies screaming, good night, everybody.